Hi, and welcome to the RCN Rocket Chief. Like any model rocketeer, I've lost my fair share of rockets, but not to worry, it's usually only the ones that I've sunk a fair amount of time and or money into, like this.
Homemade rocket carrying two cameras, one looking up, one looking down, on a C65, on a nice fall day, 7 degrees, little overcast, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. A little bit of weathercocking. It's got a nice big chute, so I'm hoping that it'll come back. That long delay is gonna catch us by surprise. And it goes way over there. Take a line between this tree and the building behind it. Hopefully it's easy to recover.
So I've walked about 1 kilometer of that 100-meter search line and haven't come anywhere close to finding out where that rocket is, even though I've got it pretty well localized. So there are methods, of course, of finding your rocket, things like GPSs and whatnot, but because I'm doing low-power rocketry, most of these things are way too heavy or far too expensive given the kinds of rockets that I'm shooting off. And in many cases, all I want to do, like the one we just saw, is get an idea of what tree it's up in. So one possible solution that I've come up with is your key finding buzzer, which works pretty well. The question, of course, is whether it would survive a trip in a model rocket, especially if we strip it down to reduce the weight, which is an important thing, especially in these low-power rockets that I'm shooting off. So for maximum performance, we would want the part that we put in the model rocket to be as light as possible. As it stands, it weighs 10 grams, which is pretty good, but we can probably make that lighter by removing the casing, which, as it turns out, is not an extremely difficult thing to do. Cutting along the seam between the front and back halves, we can get it off with relative ease. Relative ease. Eventually. Of course, this works much better when I'm not trying to film it. But there we go, came off. Of course, question is, does it still work with the piece off? You can see it still works. And we reduced the weight to 8 grams. Also, we can take off the battery cover. Oops. Making sure that the battery is still seated. And noticing that it still beeps. And now it weighs 7 grams. So we'll go try a test to make sure that something like this, which I did wrap some cellophane tape around the battery area to hold it in place. And we have a launch coming up to see if that's going to work for us.
Big Bertha with an onboard stripped down beeper, which hopefully we won't need, on a relatively chilly day. It's -5, but winds are light, about 15 kilometers an hour. So we're going to give it a shot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. 344 didn't take it very high, and maybe too long. Whoa! Right at the last minute it deploys. So we're going to try our beeper. So a fairly hard hit from our Taz, which will be a good test of our beeper as it lands on the compacted running field. There it is. Nice. So, you can see the distance, and you can hear it nice and clear, and of course landed on a hard running path. So obviously this is I think, a real solution for these larger rockets.